Welcome to Will Eisner Week. Will Eisner Week is an annual celebration of Will Eisner's legacy and the world of comics and graphic novels, with events presented in libraries, schools, museums, bookstores, and comic book shops around the world. But who is Will Eisner? Will Eisner is considered one of the most influential comic creators of all time. But outside of the comic book community, the average person may not know who he was. Eisner was born on March 6, 1917 in Brooklyn. At an early age, he showed artistic aptitude, which his parents encouraged. This led to some paying jobs at newspapers and pulp magazines. It was when he finished high school that his friend Bob Kane, of Batman fame, suggested he try his hand at cartoons. His first job in comic books was Wow, What a Magazine. It was there that he met his future business partner, Jerry Iger. Wow lasted 4 issues, but Eisner and Iger would go on to form their own comic book company. Eisner would create characters like Sheena, Queen of the Jungle, Uncle Sam, and Blackhawk. Eisner and Iger's shop would host some of the greatest creators of the Golden Age: Jack Kirby, Bob Kane, Wally Wood, Jules Feiffer, and many more. In late 1939, Quality Comics publisher Everett M. Busy Arnold came to Eisner looking to have a comic book in the Sunday newspapers. Eisner was interested, but this also meant he had to leave Eisner and Iger's studio. So Eisner sold his half of the company to Iger and went on to create The Spirit. In 1941, Eisner was drafted to serve in the Army. Eisner had ghostwriters and artists help out on The Spirit. While in the Army, Eisner then created the educational comic strip for Army Motors. This would evolve into PS, the Preventive Maintenance Monthly. On Eisner's return from the service and resumption of his role in the studio, he created the bulk of the Spirit stories on which his reputation was solidified. The Spirit ceased publishing in 1952. Spirit stories would later go on to be reprinted. In 1978, Eisner turned his attention to longer storytelling forms. Eisner ended up creating A Contract with God and other tenement stories. The book's short story cycle revolves around poor Jewish characters who live in a tenement in New York City. Eisner produced 2 sequels set in the same tenement: A Life Force in 1988 and Dropsy Avenue in 1995. It was here that Eisner helped popularize the term graphic novel. Eisner would go on to create more graphic novels and drawing new covers for reprints of The Spirit. Some of these graphic novels included Moby Dick, a retelling of the Oliver Twist character Fagin entitled Fagin the Jew, and The Plot, the secret story of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, which was an account of the making and the refutation of the anti-Semitic hoax. Eisner would be a frequent lecturer about the craft and the use of sequential art. He taught at the School of Visual Arts in New York City, where he published Will Eisner's Gallery, a collection of work by his students, and wrote 2 books based on these lectures: Comics and Sequential Art, and Graphic Storytelling and Visual Narrative, which are now widely used by students of cartooning. Eisner died January 3, 2005, in Lauderdale Lakes, Florida, of complications from quadruple bypass surgery performed December 22, 2004. But Eisner's legacy would live on. In 1988, the Will Eisner Comic Industry Awards were created. Better known as the Eisner Awards, prizes given for creative achievement in the American comic books, sometimes referred to as the comic industry's equivalent of the Academy Awards. And to this day, there are still comic creators that are influenced by Eisner's writing and artistic style. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to know when the next video is live. And check out below to see where you can find us on the web. The Fanboy Factor. Comics, toys, movies. What's your factor?